What's up, guys? Specstar here today with week 8 of Hive Beedrill, and it is my third week. I'm trying to make it my third straight win and trying to bring the team in total to 500 after it took a poor start before I came in to save the day. And this week I'm going up against my man Leo, who's coach of the Loch Ness Leos, and he has got himself a team consisting of Landorus I, with Sheer Force, Scolipede, Victini, Mega Pidgeot, Cobalion, and Gramble. And I am going to switch over here to my team that I have built for this contest. Starting off, I got a pretty weird looking Gallade. And get the angle right, there we are. Got a pretty weird looking Gallade. HP and speed, special defense. The way this looks, I'll explain the team a little bit, because in this matchup, there are things I could just not defensively check. I didn't have anything except for Mandibuzz to defensively check Landorus. But if he got Rocks up, which, I mean, Mandibuzz is my best defogger, so it wouldn't have been easy to keep them off for Mandibuzz. If he had Rocks up and I switch Mandibuzz in as he U-turns, and then he brings in something to force it out, then Mandibuzz is switched out at 60%, so that wasn't going to be a reliable answer. And I could not really reliably check Scolipede either, since it's Z. Pidgeot, not comfortably. So my strategy in this game is just, I wanted to go into this game and trade with him. If he went into the game trying to play a more balanced game, and if I went in with a team designed to trade, I should be able to keep momentum up. And that was kind of my game plan for this. And my Gallade here is designed. There are a few things he has, most of which didn't come that Gallade with some bulk, particularly special bulk, could switch in on and kind of force out. And that's why I wanted to go the bulkier variant. Of course, Swords Dance, Drain Punch is always the busted set. Ice Punch to make sure I had something to revenge kill Landorus, aside from Hoopa, which only could if it was weakened. And Toxic was to cover Granbull, which I thought would definitely want to be the Pokemon I was switching in on this. And once I got Granbull weakened, it was definitely a threat to Swords Dance up. Next up, I've got basically my win condition here. This is the Pokemon I'm trying to win with, because in theory this could be a great cleaner in the late game. He doesn't have too much that could defensively respond to modest Scarf Hoopa. And I'm basically just running some standard coverage and Trick in the last move slot because I didn't really need anything else there. I've got my Entei here, which is a fun little set here with Fire Spin to trap Suicune and a Gracium Z to hit the Suicune. And I believe it's a roll in my favor if Suicune's physically defensive for Solar Beam to take the thing out. Sunny Days there in case I burn my Z move trying to hit Lycanroc, or if Suicune survived a Solar Beam and went for a rest. Sunny Day allows me to go for regular Solar Beams and be able to beat the thing. Roserade here is a designated lead. I thought that it was really nice for me to potentially get up Spikes, and Sleep Powder made it a potentially threatening lead. Spikes, if I got them up, his removal is not great. I didn't think he'd try to bring any, so getting them up would really open things up for Hoopa. Seismitoad here, I mostly wanted it to get Rocks up. It can also kind of defensively respond to things such as Scolipede and his Cobalion. And lastly here, I've got my Rotom, especially defensive. It allows the thing to be a check to a Landorus that doesn't have knockoff, which I didn't know if it would, but more so it's a strong response to Pidgeot, and he doesn't really switch into its stab well. So let's get to the game here without further ado. And of course, I just wanted to lead off with my lead Roserade. He leads off with Victini, and I just want to click Sleep Powder here. I don't imagine anything would have safety goggles, and there's no grass type to absorb it. It was in a Cobalion, and I just want to get at my Spike. Victini comes back in. By the way, I should explain, I was just comfortable going for the Sleep Powder here on the first turn because I had a Sash, so I wouldn't have minded if he V-created. I wouldn't have minded if he Blue Flared, U-turn. I'm very comfortable making these kind of trades, especially with Victini being very threatening. Seeing that U-turn damage, the first thing that pops into my head is that the thing's probably Special Scarf, because that's timid, no attack damage. Could also be Assault Vest, which is somewhat valid, but I was more concerned about Scarf in this matchup, particularly with Hoopa as my win con. So Victini comes back in. This time I go into Entei. Entei I know can just take a hit from Victini and potentially force it out, even though it's really a bluff because I don't actually have the ability to hit Victini. But in his mind he's going to think about Stone Edge and such. Instead he U-turns out. Since he didn't bring Suicune or really anything Entei deals with, it's not very valuable here. So it's definitely something I can play aggressively with. He brings in Landers here. I'm going to go into Rotom. He gets up his rocks. Rotom's... He could knock it off here, but it's not like I have anything else that goes into Landers. Like I said, this is a game where I'm going to have to make trades. And so I go to my Rotom here. Maybe we'll be able to find out if it has knockoff, but he might fear Hidden Power Ice too much. He's going to U-turn, so and he shows his Life Orb, so I'm thinking instantly that since he wasn't scared of a Scarf Hidden Power Ice and he just U-turned, he probably doesn't have knockoff, which means that this thing might actually be a response to that, which would be pretty nice. He rings on Scolipede on this as I go for Shadow Ball, and that is a 2-hit KO. I know Scolipede would need to be like Z Dark or something more out there like that to be able to take Rotom, since it resists both Stab and Earthquake. So I just go for another Shadow Ball, and I'm very glad to take this thing down. This is actually one of the things I was most concerned about. Landorus and Scolipede were the two most frightening things to me, so I'm happy to take this thing out. He's going to go into Landorus here. I'm just going to go for my Shadow Ball, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. I was, at this point, like I said, I was pretty sure he didn't have knockoff, and even if he did, it's not like I could have went into... I guess I could have went into Gallade on a knockoff, but I really didn't want to risk Gallade and take any kind of big hits like that anyway. Particularly since it just lets Gramble in, even with a justified boost. So I go for Shadow Ball as he goes for Toxic, and I'm just going to go for Shadow Ball again. I'm loving this damage on Landorus. In fact, I think it's now in range of Hoopa. So he goes into Pidgeot here, and he goes hard into Landorus, and I'm actually going to Shadow Ball. The reason I was willing to make that Shadow Ball play is because I knew he was kind of screwing around with Pidgeot. The best move Pidgeot can learn to actually hit Rotom would be like Hidden Power Dark or Ghost, which I know it wouldn't have. Rotom would easily take a Hurricane, and it's not like normal Stab can hit me, so I knew he was going to have to switch back out. Nothing aside from the Pidgeot took a Shadow Ball, so I'm going to go for that here. He goes on Landorus. I'm still pretty sure it's not knockoff, so I think he might be trying to go back and forth to stall out my Toxic turns here, as he just doesn't have a great response to Rotom. So I'm actually going to make a play and go for Thunderbolt, thinking that he might want to go into Pidgeot here, since I still think Landorus can touch this. He can't touch this. But he does go into the Pidgeot here. Thunderbolt. Unfortunately, it's going to crit. I'm pretty sure that didn't matter, but the damage would have been great to get off either way. Pidgeot goes down, and Rotom, now weakened, is going to drop to a Blue Flare here. But Rotom, you have done your job, sir. You ever seen a team broken so early by a Tier 5? Tier 5 Rotom, what's up with that? That's some whack shit if you ask me. I'm going to bring my Gallade here on the Victini. And yeah, this is a bluff. I don't touch the Victini. I'm going to threaten him with knockoff. He can't risk getting knocked off, so I'm actually just going to go for Toxic on the incoming Gramble. He does go into the Gramble, and I'm going to Mega Evolve, throw off a Toxic on that. That's nice to have on the thing, setting it up for a Gallade later. I'm going to go harden my Roserade on the Gramble, trying to get up more hazards. He goes for T-Wave. Unfortunately, I'm Technician, not Natural Cure. I go for Hidden Power here, which covers the Landorus if you want to make that aggressive play, although more so I was thinking about him potentially being aggressive with Victini there, since Spikes is the move he would have probably most thought about. So Hidden Power, more so thinking about Victini, is going to claim a KO on Landorus. Always nice to see that monster go down. Victini comes back in, and I just don't have a great switch in on that thing, and Roserade at this point is pretty useless since I'm not Natural Cure. He might have thought I was Natural Cure, and that could have been why he made the U-turn there, but I mostly, even if I went Entei on the Blue Flare, that wasn't really a comfortable response at all, especially since I couldn't touch the thing. So I was comfortable to let this thing go down so I could bring in something else to pressure this thing out. He goes into Cobalion here as I go for Hidden Power, attacking what's in front of me. With this thing sleeping, I'm going to go into my Seismitoad. I believe here I'm going to get up my rocks as he goes into No, I think I Earthquaked actually. Yeah, I Earthquaked as he goes in Gramble. Crit is actually unfortunate for me since it pops as I pop a berry, but it's not a huge deal either way. I'm going to get up rocks here as he goes for Toxic on my Seismitoad, but at this point Seismitoad's not going to stay in for a lengthy period of time, so that's not a big issue for me anyway. I'm going to go into Roserade trying to sack it off here. He will take it out with a Fire Punch and get weakened. I'm going to go into my Entei to revenge kill this thing. I could not let Cobalion set up here. I don't know what its set is, and if I brought in something like Hoopa, I was always taking the risk of it having the chance to set up. And yeah, so I think Entei's my best play here, plus it gives limited opportunities for Victini. So I'll be able to Fire Spin to take the thing out. Fire Spin KO, we take those. Cobalion comes in and goes... Unfortunately, I'm going to miss my Fire Blast, and then it's going to be able to wake up and go for a Z move. Would have been nice to take that thing out. But now I'm going to bring in my Gallade and just safely go for a Drain Punch here. He's going to go into Victini. And fortunately, I did get the Rocks up, so that thing is 2 KO'd. I know it can't take me out with a special attacking set, so I'm going to go for a Drain Punch, take it out. And then Cobalion comes in, and Gallade will be able to wrap things up here with another Drain Punch. And we are bringing this team back. We replaced it at 1-4. The team is now 4-4 and at 500. GG to my man Leo. I've got to give the man props because he was willing to play the game on Monday, which is when the week started. I'm all about no Johns, no late Sunday games, none of that crap, and he was willing to comply with me and pump out the first game of this week at Hive. So that was fun. Big win for me that I need to pull off. Now I'm in a position where I got 2 weeks left. If I basically... Pretty much I need to win 2 to have some kind of security to make playoffs. And I need to have 1 to have a shot to make playoffs, although I probably wouldn't even if I won 1. So likely I have to finish the last 2 on the positive end. But, you know, I'm in a lot better of a position than I was when I took over, so that's fantastic. Next week I'm facing youngster Bill, who actually has, in all 4 divisions of Hive, he is the second best differential behind only Money Guy and Kakuna. And those of you who know Money Guy know he is not to be fucked with. I call him silent but deadly. The man doesn't talk. All he does is brainstorm Pokemon things and bide his power. And yeah, I got way off track there, but next week I face Bill. Since this game's up so early, it is going to be some time before I get my next game done. But hope you guys enjoyed regardless. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.